We have a good one. My man Ryan and John and King back again. Gotta be started in a minute, y'all. I know y'all can hear it, but y'all can't see us. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I'm gonna add the Instagram to it for y'all today. You can go IG as well. In truth, you know you can add your social media if you want at the top right. You can add your
Oh, okay.
Facebook
Let me
or
go ahead and do.
anything.
Yeah,
And
let
so
me go
you
ahead
can
and
let
do that.
your viewers know that you live.
You guys see me?
Yes, sir.
You need my speed, right?
Drink.
Hey, let him run a little bit. Give my
Go
chance to
ahead.
finish. Hey, let him run a little bit.
Do your thing. I'm sharing it out. You people get up in here. I just added us on IG. You know, you
Okay,
gotta
bet.
do the custom screen every time you do it on stream, y'all, for IG. That's why I don't go live on here as much. I ain't got time for them to be flagging me on every platform. But for those who want to watch on YouTube as well. You been hiding, Ron?
Man, trying to keep the lights on. That's all I stand by.
Trying to keep the lights on. Trump got niggas nervous out here, boy. He gonna be out wild. Give him 2 more years or so. He got a couple of more years. He out of there. Then they put a new double in the seat. Niggas gonna
Yeah.
be trying to keep gas on. How to keep gas in the car today. Let us know when you ready, King.
All right, interview. Okay. I'm good to go, y'all.
Over there getting it. Coming to America treatment over there. What up with you, King?
Ain't enough, man. Still doing what I gotta do, recruitment, getting everything back in order. It's really nice, really good. Not take it in a bad way, but take it in a good way. Sometimes you just sit back for a heck of a comeback. Sometimes you gotta just sit down so you can see what's in front of you, so you know what's the next move. I take everything in this place and this step, one step at a time. It's my inches sense. Yard by yard is hard. So that's gonna be hard. But me to say you did a hard here, you have what? Solve hind part. So we ain't doing that. What's going on with y'all?
Hey, coolin', bro. Good to see you. You almost out of there, King. Ain't got much.
Yeah,
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 you ain't got
yeah.
long up in there.
Yep,
Yeah,
next Thursday I'll be out.
It's
yeah.
almost
Next
over for
Thursday.
you. They get ready to kick you
Yep.
out real soon.
Kick that
And then
nigga
another
out.
journey starts.
Yeah, man. Time to get
Yeah,
up out
another
of there.
journey. Yes, sir. You
What's up,
know,
Ron? How you
Hey,
feeling, man?
hey, man, I'm blessed to be above dirt, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it can be another way. I could be in the dirt somewhere, but I'm grateful and thankful to be above dirt today.
Yeah. Get another day, get another crack at it. You know.
Yes,
that's
sir.
right.
What you got for us today, King? What you want to talk about today, man? I know you got
But
something.
yeah, just how we got to become. We leaders, men are leaders. So become a good man. Either you're a man or you're a human, right? When you become a human, that's just the name and title. But when you become a man, father means head. Father means God. That's why in the Bible they talk about my Father, which art in heaven, represents God. When you're a father, when you spread it out, it means fattening,
Uh,
meaning you giving. Yeah, it means fattening. It means that you taking care of, feeding. We got to feed our people. We got to feed our family. We got to feed our daughters. We got to feed our sons. We got to feed our tribe. You know what I'm saying? So, what do man mean? Is it a male? Are you a male or are you a man? Male is just the biological aspect of who you are. Man, you can develop a certain way of life and giving back as a God. But you got so many different type of men. You got men can be bad men. They're men, but they choose to do things a certain way. They choose to do any kind of way. Cuss you out, low vibration entities, and just doing anything. But you got some men that want to uplift, cherish, love, and giving knowledge and helping the community to grow. How you doing? So that's what I want to talk about. How can we be good men, not just a male? You know, how can we become good men? And what represents a good
yeah, I can hear most of it. Sound like your sound vibrating or something. You got your phone leaning or something or something.
man? Yeah, but I got my. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it still got a little crack to it. Let me know how y'all can hear. What's up? Rod Odds in the building. How you sound on your end? Truth, was you able to hear him? You muted.
Yeah, I can hear it. It was just a little noise in the background. It was taking
Oh,
some of
okay.
what he
Oh
was saying. It was
yeah,
just taking some stuff away from what he was saying.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. The nurses run around doing their little rounds. They change the shifts, so that's probably what you're hearing.
Okay.
Can you hear
Okay.
me now?
Okay. Yeah, you good now, bro.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. The nurses them, they run around, running them their little tubes and take pressure and temperature and all that stuff. Hopefully through the night, everybody can hear me. But if not, please let us know. So
Yeah,
basically,
man.
what I was just saying is, are we males or men? What makes a man? You know, you got good men, you got bad men. So what determines a good man? How does a man lead? You know, I know the Bible and all these, not all these, but the Bible define the division. But, they talk about father. They represent father. They connect up with God. You know, so to be a father, that means fatness. So do man means that you got to become a father to understand how to lead, how to take care and guide, or do a man just, he's just out there in the world? What's your take on it? What's your take on the truth? You muted.
Yeah, he gotta get back used to it, huh? That came back.
um, First of all, we got to get to the beginning of what man position is and what men are, what was made for. And let's go back to the book of Genesis. God made Adam first. He breathed life into Adam first, and he made Adam a leader. So then, when it came too tough for Adam to deal with the world, he made Eve. So Eve was a helpmate, but he made man first to show the example how it's supposed to be. So when a child is born, and over time, that child first word is going to be dad dad. That's the first word it's going to say because that's the structure that God has put upon a man. And as that man get older, well, as that child get older, that child must have a role model and a leader, not only a provider, but a leader, a disciplinary, and a person that's speaking wisdom into that child. And to me, we have not seen that because um, I've been. Let's take it back even further, back to how our black fathers was, even though they was in slavery, they still on Sundays they still dressed up. They had their son in a suit, and they wore a suit. So the leaders of today is no more because you still have a few, but you don't have many because the leaders are now are thinking about themselves. If it don't make them comfortable, they don't want to deal with it. If it makes them put all the pressure on them, they have run, don't want to deal with the problem. And four, that the leadership they don't want anymore because now they are fighting what the women want. They want men instead of being a leader, provider, protector. Uh, they don't want to lead anymore, so they rather go and commit crimes and commit stuff that take them out of that leadership role. So once they out their role, they don't feel like they had the responsibility, and this is why they can continue to go and produce and don't be a leader. So this is why our young children of today don't know what a good leader is because they never had one. So the only leader is to them are the celebrities, these young boy, young baby, whoever it is. But they are their leaders because the fathers are out here doing the same thing they doing. Let's going to these concerts, going to these shows, going to places, drinking and smoking. They're doing all these kind of things for not being a leader in the household. So this is why our young children of today are acting out in the streets of today. So this is why I say that put a leader in front of our children, then our children would change. And especially in our community, we feel like it don't bother me, but it affects us as a whole because society puts us in one category. You can be Malcolm X, you can be Medgar Ever, but at the same time they still looking at us as one whole. So I feel like of today, there's no more, not that I know of role models and leaders in our communities.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, to answer your question, King, I just think it's not a real thing. I just think it's not a such thing. Like I get caught up into words and the history on these words and where they come from. And it's just like the word man alone, the history of the word man. At one point, everybody's considered a man. Man or woman, we would just consider man. It come from Mandarin, so back then they called humans Mandarins, and then they start cutting it short to mankind, but it was human mankind. Then they cut it to mankind. So a man was considered a female or a woman, long as she was human. And then around like 1000 BC AD or some AD, they switched it up. So it's just like even when you go way back, it's just like when God or whoever created us, it wasn't no man and female. That's just something that we decided to collectively say, and then we agreed upon and say, okay, these gonna be man and that's gonna be female. So to be a real man, it just be like, I don't know. I just think that a lot of us just out of sync. We just don't find the right partner, and sometimes things just don't work out due to society. You can't be who they want you to be. It's like society tell you what a man is. Cause I'm like, what is a man? What is a female? Like, what is a real female? Like, what do she supposed to do? What is a real woman? We can make our opinions on it and say this what a real woman should do. This what a real man should do. But I just stick more onto like fathers, more on that, and like as a father, these things that we should do, as a mother, these things that we should do, but just as an individual, woman or a man, I just think that people just gonna be different. We all got different fingerprints and try to collect and make everybody the same, saying we all should be like this or we all should be doing this at this age. We all Some people gonna be more mature than others. Don't really matter the age. I done met people a lot older than me that still got a lot maturing to do. They still like to go out, club, and hang. But when you get to know them, you start to realize they missed a lot of that early on in their life. So a lot of people do it early on. They get tired of it, and some people miss it, and they try to get into that lifestyle later on in life. But that's how I look at it. What's your thoughts though? After hearing what me and Ron said.
Yeah, both of y'all is good points. Um, we can't say because uh, a boy didn't have his father in his life and the responsibilities, he didn't get the responsibility of a man. We can't blame going out to the club because, like you said, sometimes it depends on how a person starts. Some people start younger in life, whereas over time they get to around 30 and 40, they chill, they got all that running out. Like you're saying, it depends on that individual and how they've been groomed. So my theory is this: it all grass don't grow at the same time. You know, and like you saying that back then it's like when one man, the womb of a man. You know, the first man that was created, as when you go into Egyptian from Isis, was Adam. The first man was Adamo, which which they changed the name for us, Adam. Um, my philosophy for far as being a man is holding the responsibility and being accountable for what that particular person do in their life per se. As they say, you got to man up. So we can lead, we can do certain things that we based on all we know, right? But as you get older, you find out that, oh man, I did it wrong. So being a man is saying, oh, I did that wrong. Son, look, this how it's supposed to do. We got to be accountable for self. And I think when a male man or woman start correcting themselves, that's going in the uh, right way and being responsible. Because when you're older, you are the teacher, regardless. You're a teacher. If you 30 and you're around people 10, 11, 12, you're responsible for what you giving, if it's good or bad. And if it's bad, you gotta, oh, I did that wrong, and you gotta man up, you know. So yeah, we put a lot of titles on what we supposed to be a man, but I just think, as far as man grows in different levels, you know. Just think about it. Some men don't have children. Some men don't have children. Some women don't have children, and they leave this earth without any children. But when you have kids, it changes. The mentality is going to change. Uh, it's going to change because now you're a caretaker of another life. You know, the Quran, they say that um, you don't become a man until the age of 40, and when you get married. I can see why they say that because when you get married, responsibility. You got to mate. You want to have offspring. You know what I'm saying? So it's different analogy, but I just think a man is based on having his own responsibility, checking himself to be great.
I like that. I like that. Appreciate the light. We got blacker people. I
Uh,
don't know the world. It's bouncing all around. IG, YouTube. It's somebody going back and forth. It's like they're asking the same question. But I think King just answered it. They was asking what about the woman. But if you don't comment on Facebook and YouTube, I can't pull it up like Rod Isaac. He on Facebook, so they let me to pull it up so you can see it, King. But I think you answered that when you was they was asking, but what about the women? A lot of people do that too. Like you speaking on women, women that say, what about the men? You speaking on men, and the men that say, what about
yeah,
but I just think that all of that you said just go with being an adult, like it's just like if you grown, you just gotta be an adult. It ain't about being a man or being a real woman. It's just about being grown. You gotta survive out here. It's gonna be some things that sometimes it get hard, and it get rough, and you might feel like you ain't yourself, but that don't make you not a real woman or a real man. You definitely real,
right,
definitely you experiencing life, and everybody think that life just supposed to be just sweet, everything just supposed to be good, but would it be what's the point of living if that's life? That's like playing or watching a movie and no bad things happen. Like Batman never get into it with the Joker. Like they just friends. You be like, what type of movie is this? I look forward to things that go wrong, and I just like, all right, how I'm gonna get through it. I don't stress about it. I just be feeling like it ain't gonna change nothing. Stressing about it. What I got to do to get out of this situation? I just think that come with being an adult. That come with just growing up. What's your thoughts, Ron?
I want to read the chapter, First Timothy, chapter 5,
Mm-hmm.
uh, verse verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So that means that men out here going out here not taking care of their kids, but taking care of somebody else's kids. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, a man takes on responsibility. Know how much it hurts, know how much it smacks you because everything you do in this life is consequences. And to me, that if a man goes out here and continue to make children and don't take care of them children, what you call it is he's a bum, a low life. And to me, is that they rather not care about their character anymore. They care about what people see. They want to live the life um, of a movie star, but yet they living in the bathroom, sleeping in the tub. So to me, I just think that men of today has been failed. Not all, some. Let me make sure I make that clear. Not all, some have been let down because these men are here perpetrating the fraud that they are men. I call them magicians. They give you illusion like they really are man, but they don't know the anatomy. They don't know the real man. All they thinking about is their anatomy, and the anatomy that's what gets you in trouble. And the old saying is, your manhood will make you broke, and this is true. But people hype the men up, and they give this man some type of sense security that just because he blew my back out yesterday, he's the man, he's the king. But at the same time, that shows how ignorant you are because majority of the most men out here are thinking about what they got between their legs. They're not thinking about responsibility, being a superhero for your child, not being able to help your children with the homework. Because you got to remember, the man is the leader. So you got some men out here get frustrated because they can't read, they can't fill out an application. but at the same time, everybody holds their own life in their own hands. But at the same time, you got they worried about the streets more than what they worried about of today. And to me, this is why our little kings or our little prince is being damaged when he grow up because all the responsibilities jump on the mother because the father still wants to act like he 5 years old and he's 25.
You made some good points. Some young kids, but I just say they unprepared. We failed them. I see a lot of young men like that, and they still got a lot of growing to do. I had friends like that who eventually grow out of it, but it's like they wasn't prepared. It's like you want your son to be a hooper, you're gonna get him on the basketball team, you're gonna get him around ballers. You want him to be a painter, you might get around somebody that paint. So it's just like they got to have better role models, and a lot of these boys are growing up with just their mom, and ain't nothing wrong with that because you got a lot of good men that been raised by just a woman alone, but it's still they don't see that image. They don't see that reflection of what they might become. So it's like you get to see that right there, and it's hard for any of these young kids to do that if him and that girl is not in a relationship. It ain't like a lot of these kids just saying, I don't want to live in a house with my kid. Is that they ain't there. And I love that a lot of back in the day was biblical. You had to get married and things like that and get the, and that was probably best for us. But eventually, due to the music videos, the TV and stuff like that, we got out of that lifestyle. And there's a lot of great stepfathers out here. I don't mind people stepping in and taking care of the kids. If you're gonna be with that woman, you should, but that don't mean you should just, ignore your own kids. That's mind boggling to me. I don't know why would anybody do that. And like you said, when you speak about biblical, Jesus himself, that wasn't his father. It's like he was raised by a stepdad, so and he's the one person that everybody follows more than anybody. So I think a lot of people forget that, like his father was God, remember? So this other man that's taking care of him, he stepped in and did a great job, obviously, but that's just my opinion on a lot of these young men not prepared for what's to come, and we got to prepare them a little better for that. What's your thoughts, King? Uh-oh, yeah, Zap.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Yeah, that hmm, this is how I look at it. Our community, our race, our culture. These things is not happening because this is what they want. A lot of things been put on us. You know, you got to realize that 1965 and 70, 1970, the act of um, the act of welfare. They took the men out the house. You know, whereas though this is the problem where we at with these kids and how they're living now because it's a domino effect. It never got straightened back then. So something's never been corrected back then. As time go on the day it's going to do so the generation to generation. So I don't want to beat our men up because they don't know, but it was designed for them. It was designed to what we have right now today, these problems, based on how they took the man out the house with the trickery of welfare. You know, uh, the man couldn't be in the house around his children. That's a design warfare to destroy our race. You know, uh, so my thing is that when we go through things in life, we're supposed to learn from our experience and be able to grow. So I don't want to look at just saying that uh, we just not going to we just bad off. No, as what we're saying now, they have to grow. They have to grow into their responsibility. They have to grow into that manhood. You know, um, and it's not about It's not about if the father in the house. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, we got to do that. But these kids, the youth, the younger people, they finding their way. You know, we got to remember that we all came from that state before. We all used to go to the club, we used to bang the bar, but we grew out of that. We can't forget that. And we forget that. So the here to all of this is relating and don't forget and understand the process and why they are like that. This is I don't believe anybody who want I really don't believe anybody in our race, men or women, wants to be the way they are. Sometimes we try, but it takes talk shows like this to let them know it's okay. Grow, learn. Once you learn, grow, when you get older, then the wisdom kick in. Then you know how to navigate. You know, we didn't have the we didn't have what everybody other race had. You know, we our race was basically being annihilated. So we got to remember where we came from. I used to go to the clubs. I used to do all that, drink, smoke, all that. But I'm not into that now. You know, I ain't into going to club. Now I will give shows. It's about making money. I'm into comedy. You know, so we got to understand we can't be so hard and critical on our young people right now. We got to give them a solution and understand why they're like that. I don't believe anybody wants to be like that. It's just they don't know how, and they try to figure the way out. They try to figure the way to their best. But you know, that's my point on that.
What up, Diggy? Diggy said, link, y'all. He said, awesome discussion, fellas. Diggy wanna know if he can pop in here with y'all. I like
Sure.
it. I like definitely with both of y'all speaking on. I just always look at like, let's say if a kid, let's say if it was anything else, a business or something, or anything like a vehicle. If you and your a girl or your partner, whoever, go in together on a car, and y'all decide that y'all both going to make the payments, y'all gonna take care of the car and all that, and then eventually for some reason y'all break up and she keep the car, do you still help her pay care of the note? Yeah, because y'all both agree that y'all take care of the car. Now it's when I get the car. Since we both paying our equal pay on it, it's both ours. We both own it. When do I get the car? It ain't work like that. It's they get to decide what they get to do with the car, how the car when you get to see the car, like how long you get to see the car, and then it become a problem. It's just like things are so much easier for young men when they're in the same household as their kid than out. And I know that from experience because when I was, man, my daughter's in the same roof as me. It's every day, wake up, playtime, school, homework, all day. And then when it came outside the home, it's like now things split. I still got to take care of full rent by myself. She still got to take care of full rent by herself. So it's making life hard on both of us for real because we live in this and we still got to take care of this kid. But now I got to help from a distance, you know. So she need help with homework. She still call me on FaceTime. Her mom is still make sure she reach out, but it's still tough to help her over the phone than it is in person. You know, it's still tough to address something right then and there. Like if she hurt herself, I was always there to help her out, pamper her through it, or she was scared of something. I can help her face that fear right then and there. Now it's like I get a phone call, something happened. I can't address it because they already addressed it 2 days ago. You know, I know no use to bringing that back up. You know, but it's just like it's harder. You know, I don't know for most other guys out here, but and it's not as fun. You know, it's just like you still can get it done. But I just think any man that's in the house with their kids, you always gonna be a better father than the father that's outside the house. You know, I just how I look at it. I just think things are easier when we together financially and everything. You know, unless both of y'all end up getting a partner, then the kid really when he got two on each side or she got two on each side. But I just think like don't matter. It's set up for us to get together, get married, get divorced, so they can make money. Weddings cost money, baby showers cost money, having a kid costs money. It's just like everything costs money, even the dad these days. So they just finding ways to drain us. What you got, Truth? I'm gonna send Dickie the link.
All right. I want to go to First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So to me, is that the men should be carrying a rod around their neck or a stone around their neck because you need to know what accountability is. Because to me, that you don't need no help when it's time to insert your meat inside that woman. I'm gonna get raw with it. You don't need no help on that. Now you become a man once you do what you do. But yet, when that child comes upon on the earth, now you regurgitate back to a child. Oh, I'm not ready for this because this is too much. This is too much pressure. No, it wasn't no pressure when you was humping on that woman. So this is why I say I'm going to be hard on the men just as well I'm hard on the women. Because why? Is no accountability is being taken. We want to say all the excuses because yeah, how you grew up, yeah, that's fine too. But as you become adult, you should know the decisions you're going to make for yourself. There's no way you're going to be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s and still having babies and have not taken care of the first ones you had. So this is why I say, as a man, there should be a hook or a chain or a barbell around your neck. Because the reason I say that is because you're going to focus on that dumbbells around your neck. And you should focus on it because why? That lets you know that you're not doing what you're supposed to. Because men of today, some of these men, not all, some, all they worry about fashion, looks, and all the above, but not worry about they got a child. You got people out here, even roaches starting to make babies, rats starting to make babies.
Exactly.
But so this is why I say, as a man, stop thinking with your lower nature and think with the one that's on your head. Maybe you can make better decisions in life and for yourself instead of pushing the baby on the mother and have her take care of the full responsibility and allow her not to be herself because why? She's overwhelmed. She's overstimulated. Why? It's because this man that she laid down with don't want to take accountability of what he's done. Now that the baby's here, you don't hear nothing from him. You don't want to do nothing with the child, but then he gets mad, and when she runs down that court system, now that she's running down that court system, and now he's upset. He want to do things to her that's going to unalive her. So this is why I say, black men, you got to start taking accountability for what you do.
What up, Dane? Welcome in, brother.
And but there's only one thing I got to say is that when you said black men, I think you should counter that with all men, not just black men.
Y'all all
I got 8 kids, 9 grandkids, and if we're going to be a good representation of what you were talking about, man, I just want to say, hey, glad to be on the panel, but that was some really dope ass shit, bro.
Oh yeah, you know Ron gonna give to him straight up, you know. But me,
that was badass stuff. That's why I asked you for the link, Molly.
Yeah, I got sympathy for a lot of these young kids out here. You know, Ron ain't gonna give you all that, you know. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't mad at it. You know, that's why we all here to balance the show out. You know, because I know some of these kids, they got mental problems. Some of them got attitudes. They get into it with their girlfriends. They don't want to probably be there. And for those men that you talking about, Ron, they need help. You know, like those, the one that definitely needs somebody to step to them. And what type of friends they got, what type of family they got to just sit around and let them do that. So you definitely need to have a good team around you. But what you got to add on, Dame? You popped in here
No,
with
no,
us.
hold on. Again, going back to what he was spitting at, the only reason why I was asking for the link, Molly, because I had to go through that today. I had to fire 2 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they all call me old school or whatever because all my kids are grown. My grandkids are the only ones that ask me for money anymore. But I'm training this office, and one kid, I find a meth pipe in the truck. Man,
Oh, dang.
hold on.
Okay.
Now, as a father, I have to imagine what his father would have thought if he knew that his son was done something like that, right? And I try and teach everyone, or I'm not teach everyone, but I try and be a fatherly figure. But I'm not one of these new age fathers. I'm an old school motherfucker, man. I mean, I'll whoop your ass or whatever. So he had to be fired, and then the other one, I caught him stealing
Oh my goodness. What he still?
money.
Oh shit.
Yeah, cash.
Dang, which I ain't paying the kid. What's going on?
No, man, my people get paid good. And that's the thing that fucking confused me. And so help me on this, right? And I had to fire both of them today because you don't do that shit, man. And there's some shit that's acceptable, there's some shit that ain't, And Jesus forgives, and I agree with that. But I don't when it comes to business. You know what I'm saying, Molly?
Yeah.
So what do I tell these youngsters? I'm sorry that you made a poor decision, and uh, whatever you took from me, it don't hurt. What it does is it shows your character. And so I want to give you a hug. I want to wish you on your way. But don't ever do that again. And that's the father figure in it. Just fucking don't do that again, man. Now you fucked up because you ain't working for me no more.
Man. Hey, they gotta live and learn. He'll learn from it. What up, Unc? You finally found the link, huh? Kim said you was ducking. Kim said you was ducking, man. What's going on? You lost that fight too, didn't you? You lost that
No,
fight,
So,
man.
no. I knocked him out. I hit him with a body shot and knocked him out.
Yeah,
Man.
that's what he say.
so,
We wasn't there, but you know what I'm saying. Let's keep this
Yeah,
moving.
it took him an hour to get in. He got his rematch. He talking about the next fight. He fought him again.
No, I definitely fought him again. I definitely fought him again. No, it was a title bout. That's what I'm telling you. Like, I'm like I'm like within like the top 10. So it's a whole lot of title bouts. Title bouts I'll be fighting. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
these title bouts, they make that shit uneven. That because like I said, I'm fighting the undisputed. So that should be uneven like a motherfucker.
All right, I'm gonna get a belt then for the championship, man. We gonna go ahead and get a belt for the tournament, man. We speaking on what we got today, King. What makes you a real man? They had a lot of good topics. Ron was going on a lot of the kids who out here, well, not kids, they men. We talking about the men. He said at least 30 and up. You out here, you ain't taking care of your kids. He ain't got no excuses for you. You a piece of shit. You need to get your shit together. And he don't feel for him at all. So how you feel about that? What's your thoughts on dog out here on these young men that just having kids and ain't taking care of them?
I mean,
Just talk.
unfortunately, that's something that's been passed down through time. You know what I'm saying? It's almost. I can say this from all the youngers that I've been seeing on the streets when they had their kids, they've been stepping the fuck up. I ain't really seen too many youngers out here that ain't trying to take care of their kids. And I'm gonna give, like I said, I can't speak on what I ain't seen. Now I do know some grown ass, like some older dudes that's not taking care of their kids, but it's circumstances that outshine a lot of things. Like some of them, they not if they're not with their baby mother, they don't want to deal with the kid. You know what I'm saying? Some of them is so gone off their little addiction that don't nothing matter to them. They don't even matter to themselves. And I mean, like that's I mean, I'm a little say you can't. It's like this. If you used to being a bum, when you have a child, you're gonna continue on being a bum. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. These females know what the fuck they be having. They be having babies by these niggas. They already know what they end up. They already know what they in for. You know what I'm saying? They already know. So, you know, it's I don't you say what makes you a real man? A man, I mean, everybody, we're all men. Some of us are just, some of us are grown men, some of us are young men. But at the end of the day, what makes me a man is my character, the fact that I put responsibilities in front of me, my morals and principles that I live by, and the fact that I don't pass judgment on nobody. Who the fuck am I to pass judgment on anybody? You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's what I believe makes me the man that I am. And also understand not just going through trials and tribulations, but understanding why you went through that trial tribulation, understanding what it was that caused you to get in that situation, and also being able to take accountability for what you do. That's the most important thing, taking accountability for what you do.
Yeah, he on vibe, boy. And what's that, Dane? What you say?
No, I agree. I mean, I don't agree. I'm not kissing his ass, but that was some pretty dope ass shit you were saying. I'm just saying, love you, man. All right. But I've got, for my kids and my grandkids, what it is to be a man, and I got, girls and boys. But the boys, I'm really hard on. All right. So
Uh,
the one thing that I always stress to my children, and now I got 9 grandkids and shit, motherfucker, and I'm only 53 years old. You believe that shit, Molly? Only 53. All right, so here's what I tell the fucking kids. I said, look, I got 2 rules, and you guys can write this down, and I hope that it helps because I think this is what it is to be a real man. I got 2 rules in life, and I got 3 principles. And if it helps in any way, just know I got it from my grandpa. All right, here's the 2 rules. Number 1, have fun. Number 2, if you're in a hurry, don't fucking go. Right? Those are grandpa's rules. All right, here's the 3 principles. Number 1, be authentic. Be yourself. Second principle is don't worry about the outcome. And the third principle is do the fucking work. Drop the mic, Molly.
Right. King the Dream, quiet over there, brother. You still with us? That medicine ain't kicking, did you? Want to see you? Hit that mute button, man. Hit that mute button. You got them fat fingers.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I was just want to spin on what Truth and everybody was saying. And see, we keep trying to blame the men. Like Truth said, I'm hard on them. But it takes 2 to make this baby. And that's what we don't realize. You know, and a lot of times, E hit it on the head. They know who they dealing with. They know they ain't know they just as wrong as the dude because a lot of them girls trapping the guy, you know, souping them up and everything, and then the boys going there, they having sex with them and all this and that. Because that's your lower nature. Your lower nature is going to overpower, so that's your physical side. The world is physical. So automatically when you 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, This don't wake your shit wake up hard as a brick. You don't understand it. You know it's gonna go into something. And then your girl like you and all that because what you wearing and what you doing. Next thing you doing, you acting as a child. Now you got a kid. But we can't blame it. We gotta get out of this blaming the male. It takes both. Now, they wouldn't have had no baby if the girl didn't give it up. Correct? So if she didn't give it up, the boy wouldn't have had no baby. So we gotta stop saying the man we're gonna put a chain around their neck and all that because it takes two. That man ain't having that baby by himself. You know, they're just as responsible as the male is. So now, how we address it? We have to address it as a community.
I
Both
like
sides.
I like that. You got any
And
You know,
and being a man though, I agree on that. But being a man though, in your house, and if you guys don't agree, I don't give a crap. But in your house, when you're in that little community and you got all these other motherfuckers that are building your community with you, like different, you got new. I mean, when your family tree starts going out of control, I mean that's what it is. But that means you got to be the mayor. You got to be the king of that place, and you got to let them know what's right and wrong, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And when you stand on that principle of being a father and a man, I think that's the only thing that matters. And that is, you set the standard and the example. Even sometimes in the past, the standard was fucked up. That means you can forgive that tree and say, okay, now here, don't do as I do as I say.
Yeah,
that's why we have patriots, and matriarchs.
hmm and that's why I think. What's up, Malik? Appreciate you tapping in with us. I think that it's still always gonna fall on the mother and father, no matter where you put it. Because even if this young girl don't know no better to open her legs to this little boy that she loved, it's like she wasn't prepared. What was her father and her mother at to teach her not to do those things? Same thing for the little boy. So it's like we get on these kids, but they young, they just having fun, having sex, and for a lot of us, we just got lucky. A lot of us ain't probably got our girl locked up at 15, 16, but for some of them did, they had to grow up fast. And for a lot of these little girls, they ain't got no options. They gotta grow up. They going through with the pregnancy, they getting attached with this kid, and they gotta become a woman. But for the boy who's still wait quite ready, he's still, finding his way. He's still trying to learn how to grow and become a father. It's just like, how can you actually be experienced at something if you never did it? That's why it'd
That's
be
right.
weird when you apply for a job and they be like, "Do you got 4 years experience of doing this already?" Be like, "Well, I never got a chance. How am I have 4 years experience of something I never did yet? And then y'all don't hire me unless I have the experience. How am I ever get hired?" And that's how we get on a lot of these young men and women. It's like, "Oh, you a mother. You supposed to know how to do that." This her first time probably being a mom. She never been a mom, and they be like, "Well, you 26." She never been 26 before. She never been 27. If you 30, this your first time being 30. It's just like, how do I know how I'm supposed to be and act? It's just like you're gonna grow with time, you're gonna learn, and when you have your next kid, you should do better. I think each kid you should do better. And most things I think it come with finances because any other species outside the human species, they can take care of theirs. They don't need to have all this money and do this and do that and make it difficult. That's why roaches can have 100 babies. Mice can have all these goddamn babies. They not worried about child support or any of that stuff. What's your thoughts on Ron at the hand what everybody said?
Well, like I say, to let's look at it like this. Let's take it back to the beginning. God made Adam, right? And he made Adam to be a leader of the whole world. Then Eve came on the scene. When Eve came on the scene, he's supposed to be a helpmate. But at the same time, there's no more helpmates out here. Everybody's just gunning for themselves. The world has become selfish. And like Brother Hakeem said, King said that women could be held accountable, not could, are held accountable because, for one, you got women, they don't know what a mother supposed to do. See, when I was coming up and I saw my grandmother and grandfather, my grandfather went out, did what he did, but yet she was humble. She was faithful to my grandfather. This is what I saw. But at the same time, women of today, not all, they're only looking at the male anatomy before they look at the man. Let's look at it like this. These men of today, majority of the men, they got these locks, whatever you want to call them, dreads, locks, bamboos on your head, whatever you want to call them. A lot of men don't keep themselves groomed. They don't know what hygiene is. I seen a brother the other day. His locks was so nappy, they matted so much on his head. And he had a young woman. She was with him. She looked like a 10. So to me, they not looking at the hygiene. They not looking at the appearance. Because what I know what a man is, what I seen how my uncles and grandfather, they didn't sag their pants. They didn't have gold in their mouth. They didn't have none of this. But at the same time, the men that's in there from 19 on up to 30 or 40, majority of them look the same, act the same. Everybody doing the same thing, no difference. Not saying all the young men in that age bracket are doing that, because you got some men in that age bracket are being leaders, as far as helping their parents. If they got a kid out here, they being a provider, a teacher, a leader. But at the same time, to me, this is what I see when I go out in society. I see men, majority of the men today have no care, have no direction, have no understanding. All they care about is getting high, feeding their belly, smoking, drinking, clubbing, and getting some cheeks at the end. Nowhere that you should be 40 or 45 years old, still standing in your parents' basement and try to tell your parents what to do in their house. This is why I say women of today, they don't know the standards, how they're supposed to see in a man, because majority, like I said before, most men want to be she things. Most men want to be on the down low. So most men step out of that role to be in a woman's role, because these some of the men of today want to be pampered just like the women of today. Women of today don't know what the characteristics or the understanding or emotional what a man's supposed to give them. And I'll be first to say, I'm still learning how to show affection to a woman, because I was never showed how to give affection to a woman. So this is why I say this is what I see when I go in society. Most men of today don't show no emotion. All they care is about getting theirs. All they care about at the end, they're gonna try to sleep over your house. They're gonna try to stroke you down, and they're gonna look for no accountability with these women. This is why you got men today living with these welfare women of today, because they don't want the responsibility. Because why? The government pays for the place where they lay their head at. This is why they get mad when a woman put them out. This is why they get mad or tear up the woman's whole place so she can get evicted. So now, see, what I'm saying is, you got men has a grown man body as a magician, but yet he's only given what he wants you to see, because at the end he still has that 5-year-old mentality in him to persuade and not be accountable. This is why I say of today, most men of today do not like the word accountability. Or you judging me? You ain't God. Who you talking to? So I ended on that. I can go on, but I'm gonna end it on that.
Uncle E, what's your thoughts on? We get to you, Dan.
Um, like I said, I gotta look at it from both sides of the fence. I've been on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So I understand, like, when you live in a lifestyle that you have never been able to live, you get a chance to live this lifestyle, they living their life. And yeah, I'll tell you, I mean, they doing the same thing that we did. You know what I'm saying? They doing the same, like these youngins. What we keep forgetting is we were these youngins at one time. We didn't have the common sense now back then. So and I think I was telling Marley, like, I was told something and it turned out to be one of the smartest things that a youngin told me. And he told me, damn, sometimes you gotta let us crash out to learn a lesson. I said, you know something? You absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I said, because what you're telling me is it takes 10,000 motherfuckers to go to jail to get one motherfucker to understand that jail is not the right place to go. But it's 10,000 motherfuckers got to go for this one person to see that it's not where you want to go. But okay, if you want to, follow that path and learn something that you really don't need to learn, well, then I encourage you. I encourage you. Like I said, it took me 45 years plus to understand who I am as a man. It took me 45 years plus to understand that, yeah, I'm gonna make fuck, I'm gonna make fucked up plans and I'm gonna do fucked up things at times. But once it becomes, once it becomes a daily thing, once it becomes a vice, then that's when you got to cut it off. Some people can't cut it off. Some people just can't cut it off. And as far as these females, you got a lot of these females that these youngers having these, they going home with these girls, everybody drunk, they fucking raw. She pops up pregnant, baby girl. I can't do that with you. Let's go buy the next day pill or whatever the fuck. I can't do that with you. And the female still had a baby and expecting this motherfucker to come through and take care of the baby. No, you had an option. You had an option. Once you let it know, we know that he did not want this child, you know what I'm saying? You can't put that burden on him. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these youngins out here that we say, oh, he ain't doing shit for his child. We gotta ask why. Because I know a lot, like I said, all the youngins out here that I know, that I come across on a daily basis, you know what I'm saying, they love the shit out of their kids. Even the ones that's doing bad. I can take you around any part of the goddamn city and show you a bunch of youngins with their kids. And I'm talking about boys with their kids. You know what I'm saying? And I congratulate all of them when I see them. I don't care. I pull the fuck over and congratulate them. Because it's more good fathers out here than you'll ever believe. It's more good fathers. Little youngins. It's
Yep.
a the number is so
Yep.
great. The number is so great when it comes to these little youngins and the love that they give in these little kids. Now, however they get their money is how they
Yep.
get it. But these youngins, I'm not gonna sit back and take away from these youngins because, like I said, a lot of these youngins is far from damn fools. And believe it or not, these youngins don't believe in selling hard drugs. They don't sell hard drugs. That's one smart thing they got over a lot of old head niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because if they get locked up, they getting locked up, and I'm off giving them back their little product. You know what I'm saying? You get locked up, nigga, they taking you and the product.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
said, yeah, we gotta stop. Like we keep highlighting the bad shit the youngers is doing. Let's highlight some of this good shit they doing. Because like I said, it's bad that society looks at these youngins like they're nothing. And that's why you got the little wild ones always going off. Well, I'm gonna be exactly what society want me to be. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, time repeats itself. We was these youngins once before. We was these youngins. We all had little neighborhood niggas that was doing the robbery. We had neighborhood niggas that doing it. We was these youngins. So the same
Damn
way
right.
that, yeah, the same way that we had to go through hell to get to where we at, we gotta allow them to. But at the same time, like I said, breaking them down and giving them dumbass names like YNs and all that goofy ass shit. Them saying,
Right.
nah. Yeah, but no, but you do congratulate these young when you see them doing something good. Because guess what? That right there means more to these youngers than anything. Acknowledgement that they're doing something. That shit means more than anything to these youngers. Tell one of these youngers out here, man, keep up that good work, Shard. And watch how bright his smile get, man. Watch how bright his
And
smile get, man.
all the shorties that I help out, including all my grandkids, because they got all their fucking friends and all that crap. But what I tell all the little shorties is this, and especially the boys, is how to be a real man. Number one, you better be fucking dangerous.
Mm.
Hold on. But here's a caveat to that. You gotta be fucking dangerous. But a real man is dangerous when he knows he can pull his sword and he doesn't have to, and he leaves it in his sheath, and everyone knows that he's dangerous and he's not gonna hurt you unless you fuck with him. That's how I teach my grandsons. What I mean, and I swear to God, they are the sweetest that they can be, these boys. And they stick up for their friends, and they come back to Grandpa and they're like, Grandpa, I got in trouble today because I got in a fight. I was trying to just help this girl or whatever. I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. You stood up for somebody. Good job, boy. But you know, I think that I think a lot of boys, including some of my own, you know, they just got a little soft. You know, I don't know if it's because of social media, you know, being on a fucking cell phone all day, because that shit drives me absolutely crazy as a grandfather. Watching this shit go on, where you pay more attention to a fucking phone than you do just your life. They're doing something else. But then again, here I am, 53 years old. I'm on the phone with all you guys, right? How's that make sense? Come on, man. Don't judge. All right. So, but I do try and make sure that they, you know, you need to be a bit dangerous, but just don't take it out in any type of anger unless you're defending yourself or someone else. That's a real man.
I like that. I like, what's up, AQ? Appreciate you tapping in. She said she sent her love to my uncle spitting them facts. Yeah, you know, he can go, and I see a lot of kids out here. They trying. You know, I don't really see too many, you know, bad fathers, but I know they out here. I don't see too many bad moms, but I know they out here. You know, but I know if we do see them, I just like it's deeper than what we think. I just can't imagine having a kid and not wanting to be in their life for real. Like I know things happen, and you know you might can't be around as much, but to not want to be, I think that's somebody that didn't have that parent in their life growing up. So if a kid grew up and didn't have a father, they would care less if they child have a father or if they're a father at all. You know, so that's how I look at it. That's why I always ask people when it is situations like that. I ask, like, did he have a father? And you'll find out, nah, you know, his father might die or something happened or he don't know, and now he don't care to be a father. You know, but for a lot of people who had a father, they be excited. God, yeah, Dan.
Hey, Molly, here. I'm so glad you touched on that because I think I've told you before back in the day, but you know, my father was murdered in front of me when I was 10. Right. So technically what you were talking about is not having a father, but what does a man have to do when he loses a father at that age? They have to rely on other father figures or mother figures, correct?
No.
All right. So what do they rely on? I want an opinion from the panel on that, because you know what, I've got a lot of kids, and I think I'm a pretty good dad, and some think I'm an asshole. But I just know that take care of them before I take care of myself. And that's what being a real man is. I take care of them before I take care of myself. But the thing is about, you were talking about the ones that didn't have a father. I was raised by a little gangster ass lesbian in Gary, Indiana, and that was the best father I ever had. Okay. And then military school, the military, and all that other crap. But my father was murdered in front of me when I was 10. So, but I think that I did find other father figures in my life that could teach me, like coaches, teachers. You know what I'm saying? Just because, because that's unfortunate for even any child that should happen. But there's always going to be other father figures that will come in and kind of fill that void. And that's being a real man.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, back to the point I was trying to make though, that can be a thing though, kids not having a parent in their life when they get older, they might not care to be, that type of parent as well, because that been missing out their life. But I'm not saying that's the case for most kids. I just think that it just seemed impossible for you not to want to be around little you, like that's you right there, bro. Like, and it's just mind boggling. So I just think that sometimes it's deeper than what most people say it is. I lost a little train of thought what I was thinking though. But go ahead, what you was gonna say. Please don't cut nobody off, dang, when they talking. I'm gonna call on you.
All right.
Hold your thought.
What I was gonna say is, like, I didn't grow up with a father. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm a rarity, but I ain't never looked at a man that there was no man that will ever replace my father. So I would never look at no other man as a father figure. I would say this. I learned a lot of things from older people because, like, hold on for a second.
Little FBI in there. He got them
Man, shut
little
the
security dogs, man. But nah, I get what I'm trying to say. But a little point with back what I was saying, I was going to basically mention that I know you can have like father figures, uncles, and things like that, but I had some friends that grew up without fathers, and I never understood until like Father's Day came up in school. Like elementary, you gotta make it on Mother's Day, your parents' cards on Father's Day, and that's when I started to notice that some of my friends' parents was dead, or just not around, and I was like, that was mind-boggling to me, and a lot of that bothered them. It didn't matter if they had football coaches and all that, but whenever Father's Day came around, it's like fuck my father, he a bitch, like that. I'm like, damn, like I don't know that nigga, and it was like, god damn, man, that gotta suck for a kid, and I don't know what was going on, why he wasn't able to see his father. But if you're a kid that's growing up like that, and now you become the father, it's like it's not even gonna go one or two ways. Like you even gonna be a great dad, or you gonna suck at it. You're not gonna care to be one. You're gonna take on that same energy that your dad did. But I was trying to get that off. You back with us? Your security dogs. They don't be playing, boy. That's why I don't play. I don't come over your house, man. Your dog tried to take me out the last time I was over there. Hit me
man.
right in
My dogs love you, man. Stop it.
the
Hey, but
kneecap.
yeah, I grew up. Learning, like the dudes that people looked up to. Why they looking up to him? I'm not looking up to him. I'm sitting here trying to learn what I don't like about him. You know what I'm saying? Like a dude I called my brother, he said, man, you wanted to be just like when you was young. I said, nah, see, that's where you got me fucked up. I wanted to make sure I was nothing like you. I said, just like the rest of these clowns out here. I'm nothing like none of you niggas. We don't think alike. We ain't never thought alike. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we ain't never thought alike is because y'all put each other on pedestals. I don't put none of you niggas on pedestals. I don't give a fuck how old you is. I look at you niggas like y'all clowns. That's what the fuck y'all is. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it was like even at a younger age, I played a lot of mental games with older people. I played a lot of mental games, but it was from me just listening like it ain't no tomorrow. I didn't, like I said, I never put nobody on a platform plateau of my father because I did get one picture of him when I was like 7 years old. I got one picture of him in a letter from him from prison. And I've cherished that ever since I got it, and I've always given that man this respect because I didn't know what was going on and why he wasn't around. But then as time went along, see, my mother never told me, but then my sister told me, and like I said, I understand. And once I understood it, like I said, I didn't feel bad because, like I said, I've always put that man on a pedestal, always. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that was my father, period. I've never been mad. I didn't have him around and all that. Like I said, it was me just knowing I had a father. That's it. That was good enough for me. Me just knowing that I had a father that was alive. So whatever was going on with him was going on. Like I said, I never disrespected that man. And at the same time, I got punished for looking like my father by quote unquote, you know who. I got punished for that. Like, yeah, got my ass whooped and all that. Yeah, I got dogged because I look like that nigga. Yeah. Am I mad? Fuck no. Do I regret it? Hell no. Mm-mm. I'm happy as a motherfucker. Like I said, to even know that I had a father who even just who gave a fuck about me. That letter, like I said, that letter has always made me walk my head up straight, and like there's nothing I can't get over.
I like that. King, you nodding off, or you got that drugs in you, King. That codeine kicking in, baby. That pain medicine. He can't hit the button. He can't hit the button, man. And there you go. King the
Nah,
dream.
let me see why my device ain't connected.
You sound better like that anyway. But you must can't hear us that
But I
way
can't
though.
hear y'all.
Okay. I figured that.
I don't know what's going on. But
In that
look,
hospital, boy.
my thing is that I agree with each and everybody. But one thing we gotta understand that one thing that he said, and I'm a firm believer of that we gotta remember, and I said it before even earlier, we gotta remember where we came from and how we grew and give the opportunity for them to grow and just be supportive. If you coming at young children nowadays and you rah, it's gonna go in one ear, out the other. It's how we connect with them. You know, I've been building programs at the programs, boxing gym, uh, helping kids, fight what they going through. We got to understand if we are adults in this world, this physical world we in there, and we go through the things that we go through as adults. Can you imagine someone else, a younger version of us, 16, 17, 18, 19? You know, what you think they're gonna go through? It's gonna be worse because they trying to learn how to navigate. And where we at now, we don't have some wisdom and knowledge, and understanding how to do things. But we got to get out of bashing our own because I seen a lot of young dudes. They about their kids. I agree with you. I be dealing with school systems. When I pick my daughter up every day before I was injured. I see all them young dudes going there. I'll be like, yeah. I nod, how we nod your head. Yeah. Then, hey, what's up, OG? I, I see you, man. I see you on your man shit. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that we can't point our finger about what they doing and this and that. We did it. We did it. We got to get out of crucifying our own people. We got to get out of crucifying other people. And something that Essence say, some Essence always say, don't throw those stones, because we all got a glass house. You know, And we got to get on this level where it's that understanding with compassion and love. That's what a true man is about. Compassion and love. Loving to see what they're doing. We can't point out every bad thing they do. That's what society wants us to do. We do that with society, then we break it down, man. Because that's what they want us to do. Now, I'm not saying it's something out there. Yes, it is. But nevertheless, they still got to grow to get where to understand. No grass, all grass do not grow at the same time. You know, and I'm a prime example of that. I can tell my story, write a book, and it's gonna be a bestseller. Now, you know, but the thing is, you know, I come up from that. You know, I come up. My mother died when I was what, 6, 7 years old, in my face. You know, the guy I thought was my father wasn't even my father. So I'm mad with the world. So you know how they come out of, and something that we all got in us. Godship. Every one of us knows something is over us and governing us. And that's how I made it through. I searched for God. And as I searched, when I looked in the mirror, I found him. First law of nature, self-preservation. We got to understand that the society we are in is crucial for adults and for kids. It's crucial. But what solution we going to get? When I was working at Little Caesar, I was director of operation. Man, every child that came through there, and watch this, some of them got caught stealing. I could have put them out on the street. Some of them didn't hardly come in to work. I could have just said, don't come back. The only thing I'm doing is throwing them to the wolves. So now it's my job to work with them. Get them on track. Show them that, you know, it's people out here that loves you. And I became their #1 fan. And I tell them all, man, I'm your #1 fan. I'm cheering for you.
Yeah.
I ran Little Caesars for almost, 15, 20 years. And I got nothing but kids running top restaurants, bro. #1 restaurants. All the way. Look, District Heights was the #1 restaurant out of all those seats, wherever it was at. We won the award. But there was kids running it because why? I believed in them. We got to believe in these kids. They just looking for love. They're looking for somebody to love them. Not beat them up. They're getting beat up by the world already. So us adding up to it, yeah, they're gonna be a monster. Because they're gonna get tired of being up, getting beat up. We can't become the bullies. We can't become the bullies. We got to become the solution. That's our responsibility as a man, as a father, as a leader. We got to understand that it's tough out here. And society wants us to beat them up, break them down. You know, they ain't gonna do nothing. But we all went to the club. We all had sex. Man, do you what? My little meat be getting hard, man. I'm up there I'm chasing. I ain't know no better. I'm being guided because that's your lower self is your physical self. And what is the world? Physical. So we got to be their #1 fan. We got to uplift them. It could be times I'm out there in the world. I can be wherever, and I can see a joker, a little kid, and I see them going south. I say, "Hey, what's up, man? What's up, nephew? Hey, you know, what's up, OG?" We get the rapping the kernel. I'm not even rapping about what I saw. I'm just having a conversation with him. Then once I eased him in that conversation, I'm saying, "Man, hey, what was up?" I said, "Oh, nah, nephew, that ain't how you go about it, man. You know, blah, blah, blah." Oh, yeah. We got to know how to break it down, get relating to them, man.
And stop. We can't forget where we came from. We are them. That's our old reflection. We want to give them a new reflection. We're a mirror for each other. That's how we have to approach this. I did it for so many years. Track record like that when it comes to these kids. Spend my own money on a gym, getting them kids in there, got fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Little Caesar, man, they was off the chain. But now, every time I see one of them jokers, they in management. I went to the game few years ago. We see the Wizards. Man, Mr. Carl, hey, what's going on? He back there running the show. Because we got to take our time. We can't just say, yeah, this is what, and we don't take the time to get them, build them, give them a mirror to reflect in. That's our job. That's our job.
He made some points. He had some good points, man. And I agree with a lot you said, a lot with all y'all saying. And what's crazy is I like exactly what Ron do as well. You gotta call it out. But I just like to call things out, but also have the solution. It's like if you trying to teach a kid to paint and he just got paint everywhere and he brushing wrong, you gonna let him know you doing this wrong. But at the same time, you got to be there to show them the right way to do it. So I'm always calling things out, but at the same time, let them know.
Mute his mic, Mom. Mute his mic.
This is just you have pain right now.
Yeah, check came over there getting that treatment. We on to you, Ron. Yeah. Then we're gonna go to Diggy.
Okay. I just want to say I'm gonna use myself for example. I knew I wanted to make a change. I ran the streets. I got locked up. But the decision is still up to me.
No problem. I got my podcast going.
Mute that joint, Mike. Molly, mute that joint. But I knew I wanted to make a change. And change comes within self. It don't start with society. Change starts with self. And before you walk outside of society, you got to make sure that your mental is good. Make sure you are good. So that's like example. That's like a snake. When it's time for a snake to shed skin, he goes through the roughest times of shedding that skin. So it either rub against a log or a stone, something to get that old skin off. So what I'm saying is that to want to change, you have to make the necessary step. We can say and we can hold their hands all they want, but when is the time to allow them to be a man? When they're going up inside a woman, they don't need no help, but yet they need help to guide them through something that they should have got response on.
Diggy, what is Diggy? You wanted to add something, but now he ain't nowhere near the camera. That's how Diggy do. He done moved now. But I don't know. I just feel like it don't take a man to have sex. I think a lot of us was having sex before we became a man. So it's just like these kids doing grown up things at a young age, and I still feel like it fall back to the adults. We got to prepare our kids for the world. And if your kid out here 13, 14 having sex, it's on us. It's on the parents. It's like, where you at? What type of role model is you that they out here doing these things? So we got to be better role models. And I'm with you, Ron. You can't hold their hand through the process, but you can be a reflection for them. You can show them this how things done. And you ain't got to tell them. You can just show them by action. I tell a lot of people, a lot of these kids don't follow because they don't see the money. You hear them talking, but if you show them, oh, it's money that comes with this, you can start a company and you can show them the money that comes with having a company. They want to do it. But if you just talk about it, they can't see the money, then they not really interested though. You back with his name? What your thoughts were?
And stuff. But as far as um, this, the platform here, what is it to be a man? All right. I've got lots of kids and I got lots of grandkids, and half are boys and half are girls. I think more importantly is what is it to be a person? And I think we've hit on a lot of really good points tonight, the entire panel. I'm impressed. But the main thing I think is, make sure that our tree, our family tree, that they are always trying to be authentic. They're always trying to strive to be better. And, if we can lift them up instead of tear them down, then that's the best thing we can do. But sometimes the ones that get out of hand, you got to tear them down so they can be lifted up by, the old man upstairs called the Lord. And then, he'll put them in line when they screw up. But as long as we continue on that path of having excellence and manhood is, in my opinion, the ability to be caring. He's the lion. He's the one that says it's my way or the highway, and I'm going to make sure that I structure you in a way that you're going to go off into the world and be successful. And it doesn't always work out that way. I mean, I got kids that have been in fucking prison, so. But at least I tried to do my job, and they are now trying to do their job regardless of their faults. But children live what they learn. And me also being a convict, why wouldn't they be a convict? Well, because they thought that might be cool. Well, now they find out that it wasn't. Does that make sense, guys? I mean, we do live what we learn. And if we reflect, we were talking about reflection, if we reflect on our children, our own behavior, then the only way we can redeem ourselves is by changing our behavior. And that's what makes you a real man.
I like that. Kids live what they learn. I never heard that. I'm using that for now. No.
That's right.
Live what they learn. You can hear us again, Kim. Your headphones back on?
Yep. Everything back on, brother.
What's up?
I know I come across real passionate, man, because when it comes to these kids and youth, man, that's all I ever did because, when I was young, I stayed locked up, because I had to figure this thing out. Out there, I needed money, you know what I'm saying? Hustling, so I stayed locked up as a juvenile, did some time as an adult, but mainly as a juvenile because, I'm not gonna ask nobody for nothing. I'm gonna get it. That's how I am. So I understood them changes of life. As a juvenile being locked up, I had a teacher tell me that I wasn't even gonna make it to 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's brutal.
She had at least a 50 chance from where we come at. She was about almost there.
Yeah, because at the time when I was coming up, DC was the murder capital of the world. Yeah. And I was in the trenches. And so my passion for the kids is because I know what I went through. I know the struggle and the fight I went through to get where I'm at today. I had critical people, not critical, but I had promising people in my corner that reached their hand out and helped me to get. I remember I was ready to get juvenile life, which has been no more than 4. I was 15. Out 3 years I would have been out. Well, actually 21, so they're going to give me youth back. So instead of that, they looked at my backgrounds. He lived with himself, and this and that, out there in the streets. So it was a program called Aftercare Program, and I saw the lady in there, but I didn't know who she was. And My lawyer spoke with the lady. I said, she's speaking with the lady beforehand. So the lady said, the lawyer said, well, look, I'll never forget this lady, man. Miss Buchanan, man. I wish I could see her right now today. I'm gonna get Laura, because it was a pinnacle of my life, how it changed. So Miss Buchanan said, look, he's not a bad kid. His circumstances is why he's in the situation he is. I would like to put him in a new program called the Advocate Program. So the judge, he said he took a recess, and then he came back to me. Now I was locked up. I came, from Oak Hill, and so I got to go back in the back. So they told the judge, talked to him, the president advocate came out. So the advocate accepted me. So I got released, right? So when I got released, this lady, man, she guided me. She took interest. She didn't know me from Adam and Eve. She took interest. Showed me how to fill out an application. I didn't know nothing about that. I'm in the street. Got my first job at Popeye. Took me to her and her husband. Took me to different restaurants. Showing me it's a different life than fast food and all this. Because of that lady, took that time and didn't throw me to the wolves and showed me love. That's why I'm the man that I am today.
That's what's up,
She
baby.
she saved my life. So I'm an advocate for these kids out there. And I'm an advocate to the fullest. I gave my last dollar to make sure centers and stuff is up for them. Got a gym right now, diamonds in the rough. Kids coming in the gym. They doing math, they doing work, doing everything. Because I know how rough and tough it is out there. And if no one can get the love, if they can't get the love from the house, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna find the love somewhere else. And they find the love in the wrong place, then they're gonna be pimped on the street selling drugs and all this and that, and never can come back. Or they're gonna, if they're searching for love, and that was one of the things I did. Search for love, you're gonna try to find that in the girl. Find the wrong girl, you got a rack of kids, and you just destroy it. Man, my first child at age 20. So we got to understand that it's tough out here. If it's tough for us, bro, I'm saying this again, and I hope I'm not repeating myself, but this is true. This is fact. Man, if it's tough for adults out here, what the hell you think it's gonna be for these kids out here? It's gonna be 10 times, 15 more, man. 10 to 15 more times hard. Real talk.
Real talk. Yeah, I fucking agree 100%.
Dr. what you say, man? Try to keep these lights on, right, baby? You're working hard to do so. But see, you and we have different substances to get us there. And we ain't got to do no wrong to get there. Because we learn. We know how to do it. That's why it's a thing saying each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? That's where we got to be at. And that's how we got to lead. They need us. Even the ones out there taking care of their kids, they still need us. They need a roadmap to success. We got it because we successful, believe it or not. I don't care how much we struggle. We struggling because we out here doing what we're doing. We not struggling. We successful because we made it to an age that we passed that is not guaranteed to us. So we gotta get
I think that I don't think that we're doing a good job collectively. I'm just being an objective person.
Exactly.
Think of
the flip side of that coin, I think that there's a lot of young men, because of being displaced, being raised by a mother, that they have taken on a feminine quality. And I think a lot of the kids nowadays, the boys, need to be toughened up a bit. Now, I don't know if it has to be through incarceration or abuse, but I remember when I was a child, when you fucked up, you got your ass whooped. Today, if a child fucks up and you whoop their ass, you can go to fucking jail. So I think that we are kind of collectively, not just me, not you, not anybody else, but collectively, I think we're raising a bunch of fucking sissies, that don't have respect for God, their parents, their authority, their fathers, and as father, I have to take responsibility for that because, if collectively, if we're talking about what real men are, the good old days of, having your ass whooped with a switch, that would be, it'd be punishable by imprisonment and having your child taken away from you. Now, when I was a child, that happened, and you just didn't ever do whatever the fuck you just did because you knew it would happen. And I'm not talking about corporal punishment on children, but I think that we've come into a society today where everything has such easy access to information. Kids don't even have to go to the fucking library. They can just pick up your fucking phone and find out, where Walt Whitman was born. That's crazy. That shit didn't even exist when I was younger. So I think we've come into a very soft age, and they have no idea what it is to go without. I think that we need to raise them up so that they appreciate what we as a generation of older fathers have gone through to make sure that they can have that lifestyle. I still can't use my fucking phone, Molly. Molly, I still can't use my fucking phone, dude.
See, I get what you're saying, but that's one thing we got to understand, that it's not that time. That the time we came up in is different. There's no more of that.
Yeah.
It's never going to be that again. The time we are in now is advanced. Computer.
Yeah, but you can't whoop them no more.
Pretty soon,
you can't whoop them no more. So if you whoop them, they you're a bad parent.
No, I don't know about.
Think about that.
Real men. Where I come from, real men were real men.
I don't know what y'all talking about, but I fucks my kids up.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I don't know.
I'm hands on. I'm definitely hands on.
That's what I'm about to say. I don't know where.
I don't care what nobody say. I'm hands on about mine.
I asked my son. He'll tell you. When he get out of hand, he'll move away from me because he know I'm about to hit him. He already know. Molly seen it.
And he grown now.
And he's grown. He's 35 years old. When he get out of pocket, I'm allowed to hit him. He went on to, man, I'm going to sit over Uncle Rodney. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a crusher. So I don't look at it that we can't beat our kids and nothing like that. That's not what it's about. We get it confused with that day of time to this day of time because we lived at that day of time. This day of time is different, so things are changed. So we have to adapt with the new age, the new era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's up, dude?
Yeah, we're missing a lot of things in this conversation, and that is we're missing that a lot of these kids that's out here like really in the streets are going through some of the things that a lot of us went through. And that is the mother, father, grandmother, whatever, is on some type of drugs or alcohol. This is damn near in every household within the quote unquote hood. You know what I'm saying? And these children, they're growing up with responsibilities they shouldn't have. So when we say, "Oh, they not doing this, they not doing that," you have no idea of the responsibilities these kids really be living up to. But you always want to have knuckleheads. I consider myself as a knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? When I felt like I was man enough to take care of myself, I was the fuck out the door. I was fuck out the door. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. You want me to go? I'm trying to go. Thank you. You gave me my you gave me my get out of motherfucker, get out the house whenever and forever and why ever card. Yeah. I ain't gotta come back. I don't live here no more. And I was a goddamn young, but guess what I did? I went to school. First time I get locked up, I get 24 fucking years. I get 24 fucking years. Turn to 18. First time in jail, and they give me 24 fucking years for selling drugs. For a charge that I beat at that. But I was made an example of. You know what I'm saying? And when I got locked up, like I said, I was still a knucklehead. I was still for the streets. I had an image to uphold and all this whole shit. You know what I'm saying? But it took 27 years out of my life for me to realize, you know what I'm saying, that ain't nobody ain't nobody more foolish than I am. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is, I keep on doing the same damn dumb shit and keep on trying to figure out, oh, did somebody tell on me and all this goofy ass shit. You know what I'm saying? When for real, I've had money. I know what it feels like to live with money. I know what it feels like to live without money. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Guess what? Whenever you put that shit in front of you, your life is going to just be miserable. Live every fucking second to its fullest. But at the same time, man, don't destroy yourself in the process. You know what I'm saying? What I learned in these years that I did incarcerated, like these 27 years, I learned patience. I learned responsibility. I learned what it takes to be a man. I learned what it takes not to be a man. I learned uh, 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 I learned myself. I had a chance to sit in the goddamn like when I was in the hole. If I went to an institution, I had to go to the hole. I gotta see what the hole like because I know I'm gonna do about 6 months in the hole. I'm gonna put my hands on somebody, so I know I'm gonna do 6 months in the hole. Let me see what this hole like. Oh, I can do this. I can do this. No, I done went to some holes like, oh my God. Oh, but I got to do it. But at the same time, being real with y'all, this was something that I I unconsciously did to enhance myself, my mental, my strength, my whole being. You know what I'm saying? I met myself in a cell locked up. And I talked to myself in that cell. And I had to honestly realize one thing. I'm my biggest devil and I'm my greatest God. So like I said, it took me a long time to get to where I'm at right now. Some of these youngers that we see out here, one day, very soon, they may be where we're at, having the same kind of conversations that we're having. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I think it's a miscarriage of justice when we take the small number of youngins and we overpopulate them like it's all these youngins out here that ain't doing right. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, everybody that's on this podcast got some youngin that's not their blood that looks up to them. So whatever you doing, one of these youngins is watching you. Believe that.
Believe that. Ron and Don, you with us, man? Ron got them shirts orders over there. I already know you busy, man.
Yeah. I just think that I'm gonna say out of 90%, 30% of the kids are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I run past a lot of good kids that's doing the right thing. And when I was a coach in football out in Montgomery County, and to see those kids out here playing on the football field from the age from first all the way up to 12th grade playing football out there, and just to be around that environment, that lets me know that the kids want to do the right thing. But the scriptures say, if you don't have a teacher, how can you learn? But it's like everybody wants to be the student, teacher. They want to come out the womb like they've been here before. But yet, like I said before on the other podcast we had, that you got grown adults handing down 14, 15-year-old responsibility, like E just said. You got the mother goes out here, had 3 or 4 kids, whoever the oldest 2 kids get to take care of the little kids, and while the mother still goes out there to listen to some go-go music or just go to a club. And some of the kids are experiencing stuff that we did experience. Parents being on drugs, you know, and then we not only gonna talk about a lot of incest that's going on in the households. So a lot of these young, especially these young girls and boys, are being touched by people in their family. And this is why a lot of them are rebelling because they don't have nobody they can talk to. Like he just said, um, the population, society push all black kids, and no matter if they doing good or bad, because the police gonna stop them. The parents just bought the kid a new car. Police stop them because they see a young black male behind a BMW or Mercedes or a Lexus truck, and the police are gonna find a reason to try to stop him, and that's where it starts. So you got to look at it now. The world is evil. We get it, but also just because you have a vagina and a penis doesn't mean you go out here and have kids because you got to have a stable mind. You have to have not only finances, but you got to have the right mindset. Because I was looking at the Animal Channel the other night. I look at how Lioness, she goes way off when it's time for her to deliver those cubs. And she nourished those cubs until they get of age to where they can take care of themselves. And the human side of it, not all, some feel though that when they get a certain age, the thing is when they turn 18, you kick them out. Now, I say this: you bring up a child, how a child's supposed to be by discipline, correction, understanding, guidance, and leadership. Also, if you allow your child, because the father is not there, you want to spoil that child. You want to give that child everything that child needs. You want to give them the latest tennis shoes, the PlayStation, the latest clothes. But at the same time, you're not spending no time with that child. You're just giving, giving, giving. And this is why our young black children, I don't know about any other culture. I don't. I'm only speaking for my culture. This is why they come rebellious because you're not looking at what you gave them and gave and gave, but you never held them accountable when you go downstairs to the kitchen and there's a pot of water been spilled on the floor and the child didn't get it up. That's the first sign of disrespect in the house. So this is why I say, back to our previous conversation, this is why you got men of today that don't know how to be a man because you got the single mamas, not all. So let me clarify that. Not all, some wants to babyfy their children or their so-called men. And this is why most relationships don't last because
Why you don't make
and
them be
marriage
best
don't
friends?
last. It's because marriage between a husband and a wife, you got the mother still sticking her nose in her son's life because why? She treated her son as if he is her boyfriend or husband. So this is what I'm saying is that God gave man to be a leader. And I said before at the beginning of the podcast, when I was a child, I did child things. When I become adult, I do adult things. And I always say that you don't need help when you get certain into a woman. That's when you're a man. But yet you don't want to do the things that become to be a man. You can do all that you want, but at the end, are you a man or you still a little boy in a man's body?
Yeah. Uh, we gonna end it there though. But I just feel like a lot of these kids, if you don't make them go to school, the streets will school them. If you don't teach them how to start a business, the streets will help them start one. You know, if you don't teach them to get a job, the streets will give them a job. You know, and that's for the males and the boys. It's just like if we don't become their teachers, they will find one. You know, they won't be lost. It's just that they might not be the teacher that we want them to have. But I just feel like all people out here was influenced by somebody. I heard King mention he was influenced, you know, by a couple of people as well. But we say the best is always somebody up here looking up to you, you know. But we gonna leave with some closing remarks. Dame Dollar, man, get us some good energy before we get out of here, brother. Appreciate you
That's a good
tapping in with.
answer. I was raised by my mother, okay, because again, my father was murdered when I was 10. But being raised by my mother, she told me how to be a man, and the best thing that she told me was be accountable for your behavior, and don't take any excuses. And Molly, you were talking on the business end. My mom, she never gave us an allowance. We were dirt ass poor. We asked for allowances. She'd say, go to the neighbor and go wash windows and mow a lawn or something. I think that, from here forward, what we can do on a positive note is that we're enjoying the fact that our male figures are all a product of this, this patriarch that we're supposed to be. And so let's encourage them with this podcast to let them know that they're good and they're better than they can be, and they are certainly better than they think they are. All men and the youngsters coming up. Can I get a what? Thanks, Mom.
They showing us love. What? Appreciate you tapping in with us, Dame Dollar. Any closing remarks before we go, brother?
Yeah, man. I love all my little younger men. That's why I'm up weed, man. I love all my younger men. Some of them gonna make bad decisions, some of them gonna make good decisions, but I love them all the same. I'm saying it's a part of life. The best teacher is hands-on and experience, and that's what a lot of them is out here doing. You know what I'm saying? They're hands-on and they're going through an experience. And like I said, some are going to gravitate. Some are going to gravitate to the good. Some are going to gravitate to the bad. And it's a part of life. But we just got to love them for who they are, and we got to cherish them while they're here.
Amen.
Ron the Don.
I just, to end on a good positive note, I just think that if we improve ourselves, our young kids will improve themselves. Like I always say, when children are little, they're always taking pictures, and the pictures don't develop until they get older. And why we can't all be like the ants? Because a good example with an ant, they come together. If they need to get across a lake or something, they all climbing each other back to make a straight line for all of them to get through. I just say that we all be the ant to connect love, joy, peace, and happiness.
I like that. In the dream. And then talking though. No, I might mute all that. Can't hear you, Slim.
Yeah, my bad. I was just talking to one of the administrators came on with something, and she was asking what we're doing. So it's a podcast, and we talking about the youth and all that. She's a school teacher, and she said, and one of the things she said, yes, they need help. They need somebody to grab them and this and that. But overall, I just want to share that because it's a lot of us. Like everybody on this panel, we have something to give. Every one of us. Every one of us. And we just can't have this night talking and agreeing with each other. We got to put something together for them, and we had to attack these schools and get them. I love the analogy you use, Truth. That's a beautiful analogy. And the reason why ants and bees and all these animals can do what they do, because, they're from nature. And we got to teach our kids, and we got to become understand that we got to get back to nature, the
Hell
natural way of
yeah.
life, the natural way of things. That's what we once we do that and show our youth that we can be natural in it. You don't have to wear fake hair to be beautiful. You don't have to wear eyelashes. We don't have to get all these butt enhancements and all these things. Just eating good, living a good life, and being peaceful and working. We just got to teach everybody how to get back now. You know, as a natural way of being. And that's where we got to be at. So I ain't gonna hold it up now. I love what happened tonight. It was beautiful. I think that we got to continue on this journey. I don't think we should stop. I think we should hit it hard. You know, um, Spread the word of what we're doing, and watch some kids gonna end up coming on here and hearing. This is about them. It's about them. If we continue to do what we do, the Most High is going to grant us the things that we need if we move in that way. If we move in the way that the Most High wants us to move in, He's going to grant us the kids that He wants us to save. I guarantee you that. That's how this is how this works. I've done it before. I've seen it.
Amen to that. But I also think that the panel would agree that all of us are a little old school, right? Except for Molly. Um, but we got to make a good representation of ourselves now, even if we have transgressions from our past.
The
But it
transgression
doesn't
of our
also give
past.
us. But it also doesn't give us a right if they do something wrong because they think, oh well, Dad did something wrong back when he was young, or so he got through that. No, to avoid that conflict, I think that that's when we stand up and say, hey, no, dumbass, don't do that.
See, the reason I gave you my background and what happened to me is because the transgression, the wall going through the trials and tribulation, that is the fuel. That is the
That's
fuel
providence.
that light the fire, that push you to get you where you got to go. No one in this world, no one is in this world that walk on this earth have not had the trials and tribulations, have not went through the fire. We all going to have to go there, but we have to use it as the fuel to push us through. We can't get stuck about back in the day. We have to evolve to be able to get it.
Amen, brother. You
We
just
have to
nailed it.
evolve. Once we evolve and understand them, we got them.
Yeah.
So hey, I say that lines then. Um, my motto. Live really talk for life. You know, Stay focused and win. Stay
Stay
focused and win.
stay focused and win. I appreciate that, man. Love everybody that tapped in with us. We have some people on IG. See my girl Kivana that popped in. Appreciate the love on here. My niece Zaza popped in here. Young Trey, my girl Nene. What's up, Nene Songs? I see you. We can't see their comments for some reason. Instagram don't show them up here, but I see y'all in there. But yeah, these are conversations I think we need to have more. And I think that, I don't like to speculate. I don't like to guess. I like to talk to the kids and see what's going on. Because I just always think when I was their age, what would I have want? What type of help did I need at the time that I just couldn't get? And the most time, just somebody to believe in me, what I want to do. Don't tell me this what I need to do because this would work for you or this would work for somebody you know. We need to start getting in these kids' dreams, whatever it is they want to do, and help them tap into it. I've been wanting to do photography, but a lot of people early on, you shouldn't do that. You should do this, why you doing this and doing that. I had to teach myself, but so now when I see kids that's interested and I'm quick to show them, you ain't got to learn this and I teach you right now. So when you do go to school for it,
Hey,
you already have the heads up, you know. So it just that's what we need to do. I think we need to have these youngsters on these conversations, these young men in their early 20s, and see whatever it is they going through. Let's just hear them out and let's see how we can help them before we judge them from afar and just start saying you should do this and you should that, and let's see what type of situation they in. But till next time, man, we up out of here, man. Love and peace.
Peace.
hey, all y'all, thanks for many blessings.
All right, Dane, darling. All right, young
All right.
Ron and Don,
Good.
in the dream.